right? So you go to the Salton Sea.
Yeah.
You it's like your childhood passes, and then you enter into the wilderness, sinful wilderness. That's like a metaphor for that, right? So tell me a little bit about that, your first encounter to, or was it drugs? Tell me what led you into just the depravity of having a sinful lifestyle.
Yeah. I know that a lot of it was peer pressure. The people down there were just running amok. I mean, there was little to no parenting. Good example. The school sends out a permission slip that we need permission to spank your child if he gets out of line, right? Mm-hmm. So all the kids I hang out with, they're all, my parents ain't signing this. Mine either. I'm like, yeah, mine either. So I get home, right? And my dad says, you're darn right I'm signing it. If you do something so bad that the school wants to spank you, wait till you get home, you know? Yeah. So that's the difference between the people I was growing up with and we didn't fit in, you know? I had discipline, I had parents that cared and loved me, I had guidelines that I had to stay in. There's things expected of me, and I had just good parents, and everybody else just didn't. So everybody was running amok, dude. So anyways, I'm in, when we go down there, I'm like I said, I was in the 5th grade, but then when we went down there, they put me into the 4th so that I would graduate and be in the 5th again. Basically, they were going to hold me back, but since the school year wasn't over yet, they actually put me in a grade before so that I would be held back the next year. Anyways, so we're talking 4th, 5th grade. One of my friends finds a vial of Coke on the school grounds. So we're there at 4th and 5th grade, dipping our fingers in it and rubbing it on our gums and making our mouths numb and stuff. Just
experimenting.
Stupid. Yeah, experimenting. You know, but wow. I mean, I have a 15-year-old, and I look at where he's at and where I was at 15, and I'm so thankful to God that He is not. I mean, sometimes I get all twisted up at my son because I expect certain things, and then I say, wait a minute, let me just step back from that. Yeah. Man, I have a beautiful child that's pretty much obedient, loves Jesus. Yeah. He gets recommendations from school for, being a good, kid. I don't know. So anyways, I'm thankful. But back then, man, I was nothing like that. Wow. So I was having trouble in school. And I just was always looking to hang out with the bad crowd. I just gravitated to them. I had an older cousin that was in school, and he was the bully, and he was hanging out with all the bad kids, and I would gravitate towards his crowd. The older kids, the bad kids, I was always hanging out with them. So at one point, a friend of mine got his parents were splitting up or something was happening. Anyways, the 2 boys needed to go to a home. So instead of fostering them out or whatever, my friend Timothy came and lived with us at the house. So my parents kind of took him in, and that was good for Timothy and Timothy's family. It wasn't the greatest for me, because the 2 of us together had way more bravery than we ever would have had on our own.
So, wow. I see how that can work.
So we're sitting there talking about, what if we did this? Well, what if we, we're hatching plans all the time. Hatching plans for this. Let's try to make it to that party. When we get there, we're going to act like this. Just always trying to be more than what we were, and encouraging each other in that, and building each other up, and just more mayhem. And so I think we had dabbled a couple times with speed. Speed was the big thing down there. Everybody was doing it. And I think we had dabbled a little bit before, but his brother was friends with one of the dealers in town. So we save up our money, and we're going to just pretend that we know a lot more than we do. And we go and I remember riding out in the middle of the desert with this guy, and he's the older guy, and I'm nervous. Me and Tim were both nervous, and we're like, man, this is a big time thing. We're buying drugs.
How old were you at this point?
Had to be 14.
14.
Yeah.
So, already doing speed, math, right?
Yeah, math.
Wow.
Yeah. And so go out there, and we're going to buy from him, and so that's the whole plan, is we're going to buy from him. But the first thing he does is he pulls out a sack and just makes some huge old lines, and there we are at 14, and I did that line, and dude, I just remember being so stinking high, man. Just like in a daze, I was so high.
That was your first exposure to like this different world. Huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we had it and knew where to get it, and we're hanging out with the group that had it, and so it just spiraled from there. I guess the other big thing is there was a guy in town, an older guy that had a job and stuff, and he would have his house as the party house. He was, I don't know, we were all in high school and junior high, and he's a 40-year-old guy, and he's throwing parties at his house, and everybody goes there to drink, everybody goes there to do dope, everybody goes there to, it's the party place. And so having a place, just, you know where the house is, and anytime you want anything, you just go over to that house. And so that was, it was cool back then. It's unfortunate, really. That it was just so available. Everything was so available.
So you get exposed to this drug that just flips your world upside down, and you're experimenting, you're going to parties. That was at your high school stage, kind of like, was there anything significant that you remember that happened, or was it just like that consistently throughout high school and then you graduate? Yeah,
I didn't graduate. I dropped out of school and ran away from home at 16. So
16?
Yeah, the beginning of 10th grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like I say, just sin had entered in and just started to eat everything. So here I am at 14. Here's another just brilliant decision of mine. I'm at one of the high school football games, and like I said, we had a little 8-man football team, but we didn't have a field, so all of our home games were up in Indio. So even our home games were away games. So we get on the bus and we're up there, and so the high school game's going on, and I'm still in 8th grade, I think, or I don't know. I was right around 14, and I remember sitting there in the parking lot and just wired, man. I'm just so high. I'm like, I need something to do. I'm gonna start smoking. And so I start smoking, and it's just horrible, man. I'm coughing and hacking, and I'm forcing myself to smoke.
What were you smoking?
Cigarettes. And this is my bright idea, to give me something to do while I'm high. I'm going to start smoking, and that was a 26-year habit, 2 packs a day. Man, at one point, and when I was in Reno, I made superintendent, and I was smoking 3 packs of Camel non-filters a day. Just so much money, so hard on my body, such a waste of everything, dude. A waste of my body, waste of my money, waste of my time, waste of what a horrible decision. but so that was fun.
So you're smoking cigarettes. This is why you're playing football?
No, we were in the parking lot of a football game. I went to the home game.
Went to the home game.
So we're all high out in the parking lot. And,
wow, interesting. So you at 16. You decide to run away from home. Is there anything that caused that, or how did that end up happening?
My parents at that time were moving, and I just decided to not move with them.
Okay.
Yeah, I just sort of.
Where did they move to?
They moved up into Palm Desert Country Club.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were there for a short time, and then they, then my parents got divorced. They moved to Park La Quinta in La Quinta, and then shortly after that got divorced. So.
Was there a specific reason you didn't want to go with them, or?
I was too busy. I was in rebellion. I was in my 26 years of drug abuse. I totally went from one extreme to the other. I started out just your typical, what you'd think about as just a dirtbag tweaker. I mean, just rebellion. I was just seeing how long I could stay up and how much mayhem I could get in and just running amok. And so in that stage of my life, later on I became a fully functioning addict and alcoholic. So I could keep it together and function in society. Some people knew, some people didn't. But at the beginning there was no doubt. I was off the chain. So I would just I wouldn't even hide it anymore. I got parents that are strict. This isn't allowed in our household, and I would just, I'm going to bed, and I would just walk in my room. I wouldn't even pretend. I'd walk in my room, shut the door, and climb right out the window and be gone all night, and so I just was doing this. I was home less and less, and just disappeared.
Okay, so you're at this point where you just move away from your parents, and where do you go?
I'm just staying at a friend's house. I'm just partying, doing whatever. Yeah, doing a little mechanic work here and there, and just basically being a tweaker that's just running amok, not really having a home.
And when you say running amok, what specifics are you talking about?
I didn't really have a place to live. I was just, I would hang out at this house and party there for a while, and then go over there and hang out and party there. I didn't really have anything. I was just living the party sort of thing.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
partying it up, okay.